Hi there, this is Carol King, the founder and developer of Custom Home Builder Solutions, also known as CHS, a full accounting and job costing and some project management software for custom home builders. In this video, I'm going to talk about how we have decided to address doing scheduling for you so that you can relate to various vendors you have set up in CHS and other cost codes and other things that you would have in your accounting database all in the same place. Now, we have studied on various things and even tried various ways of doing scheduling, and what we found out in a way is that it's very hard for custom home builders to have a whole lot of time to just keep updating a whole lot of little tasks all the time and changing the dates, etc., that it seems like they think they want it and then they just don't get around to it. So what we've decided to do is make you a place to do a schedule based on stages or phases that you have set up inside CHS that are used in various places around the program. And I'll show you this particular builder's list of stages that he has set up. We give you 0 to 47 or 48 places to set up stages, but the common advice is to keep those a lot simpler than having 48 of them, and this builder does believe in having them simple. And when I talk about stages, you should think of those as the points in time that you might be taking a draw from the customer or from the bank, etc., like you have these sort of designated times. So one of the first steps when you get CHS is that it's going to ask you to set up your set of stages. Then it'll ask you to go ahead and attach some of those stages to your various cost centers so that we can do forecasting by cost or show you costs by stage, etc., and do grouping that way. We also have a weekly status report that's real handy where you can just real quickly look at the last 12 weeks and see what stages your various jobs are in or have progressed through, and some other things like issuing purchase orders maybe through a certain stage or marking purchase orders as done, as the work done through a certain stage, various things like that that you'll use stages for. There's some other videos about how you use stages, but let's show you how we decided to come up with a simple schedule list based on stages that you just say the number of days for each stage, but behind each stage you can make a list of tasks and assign them to certain assignees, various things, just as much as you want. But we made that a simple check mark task is done thing, like a checklist, instead of having you attach dates and stuff to all of the various little tasks that you might want to have behind a certain stage. Also, you can do daily logs based on each stage, and you can do that here with the schedule. So let's take a quick look at a schedule that I've had for a demo job, and pay no attention to the dates that are on this schedule. I'm doing this in 2023, this video, but this is a job I've had around to do demos with, so it has a lot more data to be able to show you the whole thing. And then I'll come back and show you real quickly what it's like to just start a brand new budget and what happens. So let's open the schedule worksheet that we've already got going in some form or another. So here's the simple list of his 14 stages, 0 through 13. And when he started the schedule, he put in some estimated days that he thought each stage would take. Now, once you do a schedule, you can copy for another new job a schedule from a job, or you can set up a template job to set up a bunch of schedules and even a list of tasks that you want to copy in, various things like that in the estimated days. And if you start a schedule by copying from another job, you can also come in here and edit all of these. So first of all, what happens is it looks to the start date you set up for the job, and that this was marked as start 8/15. And this person has been progressing through the schedule. Notice the ones that are in dark. Those are ones where the person has edited the stage and then put in some dates as to the actual begin and end dates. So the actual begin and end dates are in bold. Down here, they haven't put an end date for this stage yet. So the begin date they did put in, it's in bold, and then it picked up the 17 days that have to do also with some change order delays or additional delays that they might have put in. And then it's CHS is taking care of putting in all the rest of these dates based on the duration days and so on all the way down. Every time you make an edit to one, change the number of days, or CHS, by the way, will come in and add in delay days that you attach to change orders. Set up here under foundation, let's look at some COs. And it's a slab added for the patio, and the patio was the change order. But this is a slab part for that's done in that stage. They put it into the foundation stage. Now when you do change orders, just to mention, it will ask you for the stage that the lines will be in and how many days. So say you'd already done all the foundation and later you're adding a slab, you would most likely be putting a later stage on when you think that slab for the patio would be done, and it'd show up later in the schedule, just to let you know that. So that's how that's all working, and every time, like I said, you make a change, CHS will adjust all of these things real fast for you on a list, and you end up with a simple report of the schedule that looks like this, which is just a list schedule, etc. So behind the scenes, let's just stay on foundation. If I drill down on tasks or logs, that means tasks or daily logs, you can add a new task or add a new log. Now notice these here are the tasks that he has set up. Quite often, one of the tasks is issue POs for this stage. That would be one of your first tasks. And one of the last tasks is approve open POs through this stage. In other words, that the work is done. We have some suggested tasks from another builder that you can open and then just check mark and have them come on into this list of tasks. You can make tasks just from the cost codes and the cost codes title if you'd like, or if you just like to add tasks from some other random job that you have set up that you could just click and start check marking on and they would come in. Now you can write as many notes as you like. If you drill down on this, you can see what the full notes are. And here's something about soil conditions are causing a bit of a delay, and we had to issue a variance PO to Big Buck. Just notes about pouring the slab, and there'll be comments that you can do. And you can select and attach one of your vendors to the task so that you can do a report of tasks for that vendor. So they attached Big Buck to it. And they did attach some uploads of either photos or documents, which I have a feeling is just me throwing in some pictures, but just so you can get the idea. But if you click this report, you can get a report of tasks for this job, for just Smith job and assignee Big Buck. So it'll show every stage that they're in, and it gives you all the notes, and it gives you links to the attachments like the uploaded photos, etc. right in here. And then when I close it, it's going to ask, do I want to store and send a task report via comments? So let's just take a look at that real quick. Now it's stored a hard copy of that report that I just did. And notice that this comment is set up to send to the contact Big Buck. You could select another user to send it to also, and if for some reason you're wanting to send it to the buyer, you could select that also. But it says over here, here's a link to the projected task report, etc. for our job. And you could upload any other pictures or photos that you want to insert into the body of this text with some small URLs if you like before you send it. And then you would send it off to them, either via certain kinds of emails or via their portal, their vendor portal, where they can look up all of their tasks that they've been assigned. I'm going to delete this just because it's old and I don't really want to have it. But that's how you do that, and you could drill down if you needed to talk to Big Buck about anything and see their contact information and anybody else that works for them, 3 other contacts for them, and talk to them. But bottom line, this is meant to be kept simple so that you don't end up putting little dates and all that. In that report I forgot to show you or talk about is that they'll see stage 2 and they'll see the estimated or actual start and end. This one has been ended. It has an actual end and start, that stage, but they can see the range of dates basically that they might be doing this work in. And that just changes so much all the time from day to day to day to day and trying to keep up with it. But maybe this makes it simpler for you, and then it's just simply a checklist that you could just check mark that this is done, and then you can get some reports of report all tasks and logs for job, logs only, tasks only, tasks and logs for job, etc. right there. Or you can do a search for just the tasks that are not done and do tasks done no, submit the search. I probably have all those checked off, so there's none of them like that. And I'll refresh and clear the search. But a results report will show you just the stuff that you've searched for the various tasks, so you can get all kinds of reports that way. So this is our way of keeping it simple instead of trying to keep all this Gantt chart stuff all correct and all tied and dependent on each other and this and that. There's value in all of that I'm talking about, but we have decided let's just keep it simple and give you a way to have your task like that based on what you think the stages or phases, how long they'll take and where they're headed, and then just be able to make a list of as many tasks as you like behind each stage, and then also to write some daily logs. I was doing a couple of examples. If you do add new log, and you might list down here who was on site or what was going on that day and give it a title like I said. Like today I might do 2023_10_16, so it would just sort of sort right. CHS is giving sort numbers to both the tasks and the logs, but you can change the sort number if, say, in your tasks you want them to be in a different order, or in your log you want it to be in a different order because maybe you do one day and then want a log for a previous day, things like that. So that's basically a log, a simple log, and you can type as many notes as you like and add a couple of attachments, etc. So it's just about that simple. That's how it's working. And I want to do something now and show you how the schedule will change if I change something. Let's go down here and change something about this one, just so you can see. This says it's estimating to end on a Thursday and estimating to start on a Friday. But if I edit this and I just change the number, or I want to add some additional, let's just add some additional days because I know there's going to be, so I'm going to make it 4 days instead of 2 days, and then I'm going to submit it and close it. Now you can see that it changed to ending on a Saturday. So let's go ahead and change that so it doesn't end on Saturday, and let's say additional estimated days, we're going to say 6 so I can get it to pop over to a Monday. Submit that, close that, and you can see how now we've got it estimated to end on a Monday. But you can see how you can manipulate all of that stuff to be however you'd like it to do. In the next stage, then get started on Tuesday, but you could tell it and go, you could edit it and say I don't want this to just start the very next day. So you have a lot of control over all of that, and then CHS does all this adjustment all the way down based on all these features. It's not adjusting the actual ones anymore because you're putting those in as hard. So let's close that. What I want to do is start with a test 2 job that I set up and show you what happens when there hasn't been a schedule. First of all, CHS will detect there's no schedule and ask, do you just want to create a blank schedule with no tasks in it at all, and it'll bring in the job start date for the start date. Or it's saying, do you want to copy from a job? And we do have a suggestion, use the H setup job, which we have as a job behind the scenes, to set up a template that you'd like to use to copy from all the time. But you can select any job to copy from, and you can say I want the durations but I don't want any of the tasks, or I do want the durations from that job with tasks but without the individual notes about each task, or I want the tasks and the task notes from that job because maybe you've done some generic ones and you want to just copy it in from maybe a template, and or do you want the original duration with the tasks and the task notes and a context that had been assigned to the various tasks in case you reuse the same subs and trades all the time. What I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and do that one, and I'll copy it from Smith John since that's what we were looking at, just so I have some things filled in and a bunch of tasks. So let's say let's continue. We've copied all the stuff from that job. Now one thing, notice that it doesn't have a color, and we're assigning colors for various reasons. Possibly getting a calendar that will have some jobs on it with different colors. So let's give it a color real quick. Say we want to do test 2 color, and let's do medium turquoise, and let's change the job color and close it. Now if I do test 2, now if I go ahead and open the schedule worksheet that was set up for us, you'll be able to see that it brought in all the duration days from Smith John, and if you drill down on the foundation tasks or logs, it brought in probably even the big buck because I use the feature to just bring in everybody and all the tasks. So you want to be careful about doing that because look here, under this soil condition, if you bring in the tasks and all the notes, this is a note that's particular to the Smith John job and not this job. But if you say that you want to bring in all the notes, all the titles and all the notes for all the tasks, you're going to end up needing to clean up some of that. But it is a simple way, and probably the normal way that people copy from another job is they say they want the tasks but not the notes and not the assigned attached person. But you can start cleaning them up by editing them with that kind of thing. And like I said, you can change the sort order by editing and giving it a different sort number. So that's about how that goes. So I've gone and added in a few actual start and end dates because I want to demonstrate something else, another feature that we have that's called our weekly status report that will show a list of jobs and what status they are in for every Monday date for perhaps a Monday meeting. Let me show you the concept. So I went ahead and did an actual start and end here that's 15 days under, an actual start and end here that's 2 days over what we thought the days would be, and then another actual start for foundation. So we are still in the foundation mode as far as we're concerned because we haven't put an end date, and the day I'm doing this is October 17th, which means we've gone a little past already what the days were that we thought we might be. So let's take a look at what happens when I close this. It's asking if I want to update the weekly status records for this job to correspond with the dates on the schedule. If I continue, CHS will insert a weekly status record for every week from today back to the start date of the job based on actual end dates in the job schedule. All previous weekly status records for the selected job will be replaced with records generated from the job schedule. This is so that completed stages on the weekly status report will match the job schedule. So let's say yes, continue to update. And it's saying that the weekly status did get updated. And the way you look at that is you go to the weekly status worksheet for the job, and you're going to see that there's Monday dates in here, starting with the closest Monday date after the start of the job, and then every Monday after that. We have to make it be a certain Monday date. You don't have to have your meetings on Monday, but we just had to select one day of the week to keep putting in a status. And you can see here that it was in the 0 stage through the 18th sometime, and then between the 18th and the 25th, stage 1 was completed. So it's staying in stage 1 because the stages that are showing in here are stages that are complete. So this is really kind of telling us that stage 1 got complete and has stayed complete for like 4 weeks, and we are in the middle of doing stage 2. So let's see what happens if you look at a report of the last 12 weeks. And you can see our test 2 job here. Pay no attention to these other jobs. These are ones I played with and stuff and haven't updated. But notice that it started with this week and was in stage 0 and stayed. This is when stage 0 was completed in here. Stayed there and stayed in 1 basically until we completed 1 in this week, and then it's now staying for 4 or 5 weeks in stage 1 being completed but stage 2 not being completed. We have an information sheet, let me show you right here, one builder's explanation of why you're putting just completed stages in that status report, and that would be this and this document right here that can be opened. And you can read what this person is explaining about how those stages in there are ones that are completed stages. And that's what CHS does for you. If I go ahead and close this, and I open this again, and I go ahead and edit foundation, and I say that foundation was done on October 10th, and I submit, close. There it is showing a -1 from the 16 days that it took 15 days to do it. But let's close this and let's continue to update that weekly status report again, and it happened. And now let's take a look at the weekly status worksheet again, and you can see how right in here we said stage 2. As of this Monday, stage 2 had been completed, and our status report for the last 12 weeks is showing that stage 2 got done right here, and that when you have a 2 here, again, this means we are now in stage 3 in progress, but this means that stage 2 is done. Hopefully that makes sense to you. It was a little bit confusing to me at first about that, but I understand it now. Now, one other thing I'd like to talk about is other features here. You can print tasks for one assignee just for the job that you've got selected, print logs just for the job you got selected. You can get a quick look at summary days over and under. And if you pause this and study this and then look at the previous screen, you can see what this one is doing. Also over here, you can print task lists, say for an assignee, like we use Big Buck all the time. And this is a task list, and I'm going to go way back in time just because of my demo here and see what we get. you wouldn't go that far back in time. Now you see that we start with Job Lubman, and we're seeing some tasks in stage 2 for that. Smith John, tasks in stage 2 because that's usually where Big Buck is doing foundation. And here's our test 2 thing, and Big Buck shows up with some notes it shouldn't have, like I told you, because we copied from Smith John. And here's another job going on, and it's giving the stages and the dates, etc., old dates because of my demo, but at least my test 2 one that I just did that was brand new has new dates. And if I'd done a date just from the for 2023, I wouldn't have all these other older jobs showing up here. You get an idea that you can do a whole report, and then you can save that to a PDF and get it sent to your assignee if you like. Also, a bunch of tasks and things that have for builders that are assigned to certain jobs. You can get reports of that. And you can get reports of logs created on or after a date, and that will show logs for all jobs, etc. when you do that. Now I have jumped back to the main menu of CHS because I'd like to show you how you can get to those tasks and logs that I've been talking about from all over the program. Let's go do it from the Active Jobs dashboard. I'll select Smith John as our job since we've been looking at that, and it's an old one with lots of stuff in it. And notice right here we could open the job schedule if I just click that, and we could open the schedule worksheet, etc. But let's go back to the jobs dashboard. Notice that it says view, edit, logs, and tasks right here, and you could say which stage you want to see, and we look at foundation a lot of the times, and it's going to show you the various dates, and maybe that makes you decide to see a different one. But notice how you can just open the logs and tasks right from here and start adding new tasks, adding new logs, check marking things that are done or not, getting reports, and you can get the big schedule report all the time right there from tasks and logs if you're just wanting to look at things quickly without running over to work on the schedule, etc. Now another place that you can see that you can get to the tasks and logs, but let's just say we want to, for purchase orders, remember we had that task about issue all purchase orders through a certain stage, or we had a thing about approving work done on a certain stage that we're done with. So maybe we just say we're done with everything from 0 through 2 stage, and so we just want to see those purchase orders. So I'm going to open a thing that's showing all purchase orders and attached costs, etc. But notice how there's stage 0, it says stage schedule. It means that if you drill down on these numbers for the stages, you can go ahead and open the tasks and logs. And you'll see all over the place a highlighted link for drilling down to tasks and logs, and you'll just find those on all kinds of screens that would relate to a certain stage. So that's that. You could do that through that and just ask for certain ones through a certain stage. If you do the actual jobs cost database, since stages are attached to various cost codes, you're going to be able to see stage numbers in here also for actual costs that you've posted. And believe me, if I drill down on this, it'll be that same tasks and logs that I just showed you that opened. An interesting place is also on change orders approved. If you open the change orders, let's just look at this one about adding a patio. Now each change order has multiple lines maybe, and notice this is one change order, but we're doing slab, and then we're doing framing on it, and then we're doing roofing on that patio, and they have selected for this work to be in various different stages of the job. In other words, when you open a schedule and it brings in the delay days for the change orders, like we saw the 2 delay days earlier on Smith John in stage 2 for doing the slab. Like I say, when you enter these lines, you can drill down and see the tasks and see the dates of the stages, or CHS will tell you if you select a stage that's already been marked as completed, it's going to pop up. Say I'd put 2 on here, but really stage 2 is all completed, and I entered a 2 doing this line back when. It's going to pop up and say that stage shows that it's completed on the schedule, so you might want to select a separate stage, or a later stage is what I meant to say. So you get that concept, and actually all over the program, not just here from the dashboard, but you can open various things and you can see the stages. Even from the estimated cost of completion is an important one. Notice how it's showing the stages here, and if you click on them, it's going to go ahead and give you the tasks and logs for that stage. So since you do so much from the estimated cost of completion worksheet and you need to see so much information, you can also see the tasks and logs for the stages, the POs and cost management for the selected stages, the one that we opened a minute ago, the change order lines for a selected stage, etc. And this is saying select other stages assigned to POs for the related cost code 1130. If you see any listed here that were assigned to a different stage, like you did a change order, then you did a PO, and it ends up in a different stage, you'll see them down here, which means you can just click select PO stage and it'll change this number up here for you, just so you can see other things in other stages for that cost code. I hope that makes some sense to you. I just wanted you to know how many places you can get to the tasks and the logs for certain stages all over the place, so you don't have to go open the schedule menu and then drill down to the schedule and then do tasks and logs, etc. You're going to be able to get to those tasks and logs just from all over the place, and probably most often if you're writing a bunch of daily logs, you'd probably be on the jobs dashboard for that job, view or edit the logs and tasks, and use it from there. Alright, that's it. That's all I think I have to say about our simple schedule report that's just done from a list of stages and using simple lists of tasks and putting in daily logs behind each stage without having to attach dates to every single little task and keep up with that. I hope that helps you out and that you've grasped the concept, and thank you for watching.